Never fear, Cindersh is here. And today we're going to break down the Batman vs. Superman movie. Now, I won't say I'm the most knowledgeable DC comic guy out there. There are plenty of people who know the comics a lot better than I do. But I do follow the DC universe a little bit. With that said, let's go ahead and I need to preface that there will be spoilers if you have not seen the movie yet. So if you don't want to spoil the movie, you probably don't want to listen to the rest of this video until you've seen it. But for the rest of you, if you've seen it, let's get going. Now, I kind of like most of the movie. I mean, I've heard mixed reviews. I don't think it was a bad movie. I think it was pretty decent. There's a few things I'd like to have seen done better. The biggest scene that detracted from me was the whole segment where Superman flies up into space with Doomsday, and knowing that this nuclear bomb's heading their way, make sure they get hit with it. Two aspects of that kind of, I think, detracted from that scene. The one was the actual crash of Doomsday. They give it this kind of explosion, but something about it just felt off to me in how it was portrayed. I feel like there should have been a bigger explosion, or the timing of the explosion was wrong, or something. And then the CGI of Superman healing as he's floating in space, having what looks like he was killed from the nuclear blast, to all of a sudden being fine again. The CGI process we see of that, just wasn't impressed with that either. And, the look of Doomsday himself, I don't know. They had to have been able to done that better too, somehow. He could have looked better. But, I mean, he could have looked worse too. So now let's get kind of into the meat of the story. We've seen the Batman's origin story with the death of his parents so many times that people know his origin story, and when it first was aired, I'm like, why are we seeing this again? But as we got toward the end of the movie, it made sense. There was a reason for emphasizing his origin story a little bit at the beginning of the movie, and it was a pretty clever idea, I thought. I mean, I knew the names of both Clark's human family and Bruce's parents. Most comic book fans will know those details. That Bruce's parents were Thomas and Martha Wayne, and that Clark was raised by a Jonathan and Martha Kent. But it never really sunk in that they both had a mother named Martha. And I just never connected it that way. And so we get to the end of the movie, and Batman and Superman are fighting, and Batman's actually about to win. Superman's telling him, save Martha. The impact that would have on Bruce Wayne would be huge, but I never thought of that. So I really liked how they made use of that in this movie to rectify things between the two of them. And of course, the major storyline is Lex working behind the scenes to pit Batman against Superman. Of course, as we get to the end, we see he's triggered something more than that. How? We don't really know. We don't get to see any of that. And so we have someone even more terrifying than Doomsday coming, which is interesting. And, we get a couple of dream sequences out of Bruce, which seem to foreshadow the kind of just nightmares about Superman, but they actually go beyond. Especially the second one, where he believes Superman's almost like a Hitler, where he's got his Superman Nazi police. He's captured him and about to kill him. And I mean, he's just this really evil version of Superman. But then we get this other scene with this character. I'm not sure who it was. Like I said, I don't know the entire DC universe. But he gets what seems to be this guy giving him a warning from the future about Superman. That he is going to go evil. That Bruce was right to worry about him all the time. And we don't know if that's still going to play out in the future, if they've altered those events already through the events of what happened in the movie. My guess is it's left open for Superman to go bad sometime down the line, which seems to be what this mystery character suggests, what Bruce's dream suggests, is that with the death of Lois, Clark's going to go crazy, and so Superman goes bad. The fight's pretty good, both the fight between Batman and Superman, and the fight with Doomsday. I like how Batman set his ground, prepared everything to face him, which is what we always get from the comics when it comes to his being prepared to face Superman or any of the other members of the Justice League. He has a plan set up to do that. And so we get to see he's set one up and he faces Superman using his plan. I want to think that his kryptonite lance has an official name in the comics, but I don't know that either. I like the way Lex manipulates everything. Overall, I think it was a good story to set up everything for the next set of movies, for the next Justice League movie, or even 2 or 3 movies down the line. Because they've got to have Doomsday come, which is what seems to be what they were setting up for at the end, and in part with Bruce's nightmare is the coming of Doomsday, but we don't know what else they've set in motion. I do like how they use the Death of Superman storyline, where Doomsday supposedly kills Superman. And they've used that part of the story, at least so far, to convince Bruce and Wonder Woman that they need to gather together these people that they found on Lex's computer system that he's made a note of that are metahumans. The Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman herself, and Cyborg. I believe it's Cyborg. And so that'll be the core of your Justice League. Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Flash, Batman, and of course, Superman can't stay dead. How well they follow the Death of Superman storyline, who knows? I don't know how that's going to play out for the next movie. But there was a lot of good things to this movie. It does set you up pretty well for opening up the universe for the Justice League. The one person you don't really get any allusion to that's a core member of the Justice League is Green Lantern. So what I would like is for any of you who are big comic book fans, if you could answer the 2 questions I don't have an answer for. Who is the guy in Bruce's dream that's supposedly trying to tell him something from the future about Superman needing to be stopped? Who is that character? And is the green kryptonite lance going to be relevant in the future? And does it actually have an official name? I don't know those 2 answers, and I would love for any comic book fans to share that with the rest of us in the comment section. As always, this is Super Saiyan 7 Cindersh, and I'll be back with more content in the near future. Thank you for watching.